LuoFeng nodded, looking at the distant group of undyings chatting as they walked. Gold feather official, purple lightning official, black yen official. Walking right at the front was a man with a large nose, single horn, curly hair, dressed in a beautiful dark golden long robe, laughing loudly as he walked at the front of the group of undyings. With a flash, he arrived at the entrance of the main hall, smiling widely as he looked at LuoFeng. This must be the new supervisor envoy Mr. LuoFeng. Haha, you run the fastest. Ape-man purple lightning official laughed loudly, turning to look at LuoFeng. LuoFeng, this is one of the 300 emperor officials of the Ganwu universe country, Dragon Wing Emperor. Dragon Wing Emperor, how do you do? LuoFeng nodded and smiled. The emperor officials of the universe country were much lower in status. These 300 were all official level undyings. Haha, I've long heard of your name, you've brought our Ganwu universe country face, today I finally get to meet you. Dragon Wing Emperor laughed loudly, following which he brought 2 of his underlings and entered the main hall under the guidance of the staff. Following which another undying walked over, greeting the 3 tycoons of the Ganwu department and LuoFeng passionately. Undyings after undyings brought their underlings over, the 3 tycoons of the Ganwu department and LuoFeng welcomed them one by one. After a while. Purple lightning official, gold feather official, black yen official. Your invitation really makes me, the black dragon, very happy, haha. A tall and sturdy man covered in black dragon scales, with a black dragon horn on his head walked over passionately, his gaze gleaming fiercely when it landed on LuoFeng. LuoFeng, this is the god lord from your hometown Black Dragon Mountain Empire, just call him Black Dragon. Ape-man purple lightning official smiled and introduced. LuoFeng's eyes gleamed. This tall and sturdy man emitted a ferocious beast energy. He was actually the god lord of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire sacred land Black Dragon Mountain. Mr. Black Dragon, how do you do? LuoFeng smiled. Haha, you came from my Black Dragon Mountain Empire, I, Black Dragon Mountain, am extremely proud. The Black Dragon Mountain god lord laughed. He was incomparably passionate as he walked into the main hall. The ape-man purple lightning official watched as Black Dragon entered the hall before communicating. LuoFeng, this god lord from your hometown Black Dragon Mountain Empire, comes from the very weak Black Dragon Mountain tribe. That Black Dragon Mountain tribe has a total of about 10,000 pure race members. This Black Dragon is the head of the Black Dragon Mountain tribe. He built the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. His strength is average and he's still a distance away from the official level. Normally he wouldn't have the right to participate in such gatherings. Because he's the divine master of your hometown, he was able to come this time. LuoFeng nodded. One by one. It's him? LuoFeng's eyes flashed. A tall and skinny man with a head full of silver lumps brought a white-haired and kind-looking old man over. That white-haired old man. LuoFeng naturally recognized him. It was Hong's teacher, Time Sector Lord Luo. Beside him should be his good friend Undying God Bushka. Bushka. The ape-man purple lightning official laughed and shouted, "Ha, you finally arrived. This LuoFeng. I don't need to introduce him." LuoFeng and Hong's relationship had long been revealed to the 3 tycoons the first time they met. And when Bushka received the invitation, he too knew the reason. The tall and skinny man with the lumps all over his head smiled as he looked at LuoFeng. Beside him, Time Sector Lord Luo too looked at LuoFeng. Big brother is inside. Mr. Bushka, Mr. Luo will chat later. LuoFeng nodded. The 2 nodded and entered the hall. The 3 tycoons of the Ganwu Empire sent out close to 1,000 invitations in total. Other than a small number of invitations for special reasons such as adventuring in the universe's secret realms or adventuring in other races' territories, the rest had all arrived. About 80% of the invited guests had arrived. LuoFeng welcomed them one by one. He had a clear understanding of the upper echelon of the Ganwu universe country. The so-called royal family, princes etc. were extremely laughable. The true rulers of this universe country were still these great undyings. Gold feather official, purple lightning official, black yen official. A clear voice resounded. A silver-robed man with long silver hair walked over with a man and a woman, simultaneously revealing a smile and greeting. Following which he looked at LuoFeng. Supervisor Envoy Mr. LuoFeng, it's a pleasure to see you. LuoFeng, this is Silver Snow official. The ape-man purple lightning official smiled and explained. He's here. The main character had arrived. The most important guest of this banquet had arrived. It was him who stopped his big brother and Ji Qing. LuoFeng looked at the clear and cold silver-robed man and smiled. The great name of Silver Snow official, I've heard many people talking about you when I first arrived on Jade Dome planet. Even on this planet there's a city named after you. Tiansong City. To be able to see you in person today, it's really a pleasure. Haha. Silver Snow official couldn't help but laugh. I've also heard my guard captain tell me the story of how Silver Snow Marquis pursued the immortal metallic life form, Kabaddi. I can imagine how you, Silver Snow Marquis, chased through countless starfields, slaughtered your way into the territory of the bug race, and then finally killed Kabaddi amidst the bug race wave. It makes one's blood boil. LuoFeng exclaimed. Silver Snow official's smile grew even wider. That was in the past, it's not worth mentioning, not worth mentioning. Silver Snow official seemed proud and aloof. However, it depended on who was speaking to him. LuoFeng as a primal region member, the current supervisor envoy, his position wasn't any lower than him. As the new generation's absolute genius of the virtual universe company, plus he had a teacher like True Yen Emperor behind him. He was definitely the pride of the entire human race in the universe. Such an absolute genius, these words immediately made Silver Snow Official feel good. Silver Snow Official, go in and rest first, we'll talk more later, LuoFeng said. Silver Snow Official smiled and nodded, following which he brought Yukon and Ji Yen into the banquet hall. This scene caused the Purple Lightning Marquis, the Gold Feather Marquis and the Black Yen Marquis to secretly exchange glances with each other. After receiving so many guests, I've never seen LuoFeng so passionate. Right, it's almost like he's met someone he worships. LuoFeng's status and experience are very high, there's no need for him to lower himself. Don't tell me he really worships Silver Snow Official? Even though the three tycoons knew of LuoFeng and Hong's relationship because of LuoFeng, they didn't even know about Hong and Ji Qing. After all, as the high and mighty three tycoons of the Ganwu department, why would they have the leisure to care about the younger generation's love affairs? Hence when they saw LuoFeng being so courteous, they were slightly suspicious. Finally, close to 1,000 undying guests had all entered the banquet hall. They all sat in groups of 2 or 3 discussing softly. The three tycoons and LuoFeng all returned to the banquet hall. Gold Feather Official. A voice resounded in Gold Feather's ears. He turned to look. In the distance sat Silver Snow Official Ji Tiansong. Silver Snow Official, you're looking for me? Gold Feather walked over and sat opposite him. There are some matters. Silver Snow Official said, isn't your military department in charge of the Ganwu universe country's elite nurturing? What's up? Gold Feather looked at him. Nurturing geniuses, other than the genius battles, they were usually gathered from the entire universe. They were judged to be level 3, level 2, level 1 and special elites, finally selecting the most outstanding ones to enter the core. Actually, compared to the genius battles and hero battles, this method of nurturing geniuses wasn't inferior at all. The elite nurturing has a quota. Can you give my Ji family 50% more? Silver Snow Official said. 50%? Gold Feather's lips curled up. That's too high. I still have things to do, I'll talk to you later. After which, Gold Feather immediately got up and left. This Silver Snow Official really dares to ask 50% more? The virtual universe company spent a huge amount of resources on nurturing their elites. His Ji family wanted so many people to enter and let the company nurture them, yet his Ji family didn't have to spend any money. Gold Feather's eyes gleamed with disdain, his entire being gave off an evil vibe. However, looking at the distant LuoFeng, Gold Feather immediately adjusted his state, his entire being becoming warm and friendly. LuoFeng. Gold Feather smiled and walked over. Watching Marquis Gold Feather leave, Silver Snow Marquis Ji Tiansong frowned slightly. At this moment, Ji Yen and Yukon returned. Ji Yen said in a low voice, Clan Ancestor, did Marquis Gold Feather agree? Gold Feather didn't agree nor reject. Silver Snow Official snorted coldly, our Ji family has 50% more slots in the Snow Border Starfield. Even in the entire Ganwu universe country, it's not obvious at all. According to the quality of each generation's elites, the number of elites nurtured can fluctuate. Adding a few more and wouldn't require Gold Feather to waste his resources. However, if he's not satisfied, this matter will definitely be difficult. A family's future was more important. He had 15 undyings under him. If he was a general without an army, how would he have the power he had today? From a small family to a large race. Nurturing the next generation was extremely important. Head Ancestor. Ji Yen said softly. Silver Snow Official looked at Ji Yen. I'm afraid everyone here can tell that LuoFeng himself is just a domain lord level 9 punk. Even though he's an absolute genius in the universe, the path to undying isn't that easy. He might even fall in the future. Among the many great undyings here, not many care about LuoFeng. Ji Yen said softly, however, from start to finish, everyone has been very polite to him. Without a doubt, it's because of the three tycoons of the Ganwu department. Silver Snow Official continued to look at Ji Yen. The three tycoons of the Ganwu department control too many resources. For a power to grow, they have to listen to the business department. The future nurturing of the family, they have to listen to the military department. Even if the strong want to be safer in the battlefield outside and gain more merit points, they have to listen to the military department. The 300 emperor officials, the many powerful undying families, none of them dare to not give the three tycoons face. Everyone is very polite to LuoFeng. It's because of the three tycoons of the Ganwu department, they are worried about that LuoFeng. That LuoFeng has the authority to supervise. Hence the three tycoons are so polite, personally inviting the important figures of the Ganwu universe country and personally introducing every undying to LuoFeng. In the past, who has ever seen the three tycoons so polite? Usually it's others who are polite to them. Hence, Ji Yen said confidently, as long as we can convince that LuoFeng to help, his words will probably be very useful. Silver Snow Official nodded, I understand this. However, that LuoFeng's background isn't small either, it won't be easy to get his help. Doesn't that LuoFeng respect the head ancestor a lot? Ji Yen said. Respect. Silver Snow Official squinted his eyes, sighing for a while. In a while, I'll find this LuoFeng to have a chat. Within the main hall of the banquet hall, the group of undyings and their underlings, a total of a few thousand people were gathered within the hall. The three tycoons of the Ganwu department chatted for a while, before walking up to the high platform at the front of the hall. Attention all. Ape-Man Purple Lightning smiled as he looked at the many undyings below. Haha. The many undyings below all smiled and looked up, preparing to listen to the three tycoons speak. After the genius battles, there's always a batch in every era. However, to be able to defeat all those absolute geniuses that have trained for thousands of years and make it into the primal region, how many of them are there? Purple Lightning official said loudly, everyone says that Bolin is a genius that only appears once in 10,000 eras. However, I want to say that this person is even stronger than Bolin. His improvement speed is much faster. Such a genius, he's probably a once in a million eras, right? Who is he? Purple Lightning official was all smiles. He's our Ganwu department's new supervisor envoy, LuoFeng. And for a very long period of time, he'll be my Gold Feather and Black Yen official's best partner. Right, he'll be our best partner. The virtual universe company's many matters in the Ganwu universe country will require LuoFeng's supervision. Gold Feather official said too. The headquarters has sent LuoFeng to join our Ganwu department. Gold Feather, Purple Lightning official and I are incomparably happy to be able to work with True Yen Emperor's beloved disciple, the absolute genius Mr. LuoFeng. The black-robed lady smiled and said, her voice resounding within the ears of everyone in the hall, let us welcome Mr. LuoFeng up. Welcome. Welcome LuoFeng up. Purple Lightning official and Gold Feather official shouted passionately. With the three tycoons being so welcoming, how could the group of undyings in the Ganwu universe country not give them face? If they didn't give them face at such a crucial time, the moment the three tycoons remembered them, it would be troublesome. Hence the group of undyings were all very welcoming. LuoFeng. Purple Lightning official shouted passionately. LuoFeng could only walk up the platform. The Ganwu department's welcoming of the three tycoons made the invited undyings extremely shocked. These three tycoons of the Ganwu department are usually very arrogant, there aren't many in the Ganwu universe country that can make them like that. But today isn't it just a supervisor envoy? Is there a need to do this? If that LuoFeng doesn't know what's good for him and does something behind his back to make him disappear, then there'll be no evidence at all. No matter what, he's just a domain lord level 9 punk, we have ways to deal with him. A few undyings discussed. Kill LuoFeng, don't you know his teacher is True Yen Emperor? True Yen dares to act recklessly without evidence? Haha, it seems like True Yen has stayed in Primal Chaos City for too long. It's been 1,000,000,000 years, many people have forgotten about him. This group of great undyings, they were used to directly destroying their enemies. Hence, even though they knew LuoFeng was the supervisor envoy, he was after all a domain lord level 9 junior. This made many of them underestimate him, however looking at the three tycoons of the Ganwu department being so attentive. Obviously, the three heads of the Ganwu division were expressing their stance. We support LuoFeng. LuoFeng and we are in the same camp, we are the Ganwu department's 4 tycoons. Messing with LuoFeng is messing with the 3 of us. Actually those words were just a stance, a declaration of their stance. Immediately it made the undying's thoughts change. In their hearts, LuoFeng's position began to rise. Offending LuoFeng is the same as offending the 3 tycoons. Offending the 3 tycoons, they'll be ostracized in the Ganwu universe country. The many undyings all saw it clearly. Obviously Purple Lightning official, Gold Feather official and Black Yen official don't have a strong enough background, they're more afraid of LuoFeng finding trouble with them. During the time LuoFeng has been the supervisor envoy, the Ganwu department has one more person we can't afford to offend. LuoFeng, he's also considered the 4th tycoon. The group of undyings considered from their family's development, they all clearly recognized LuoFeng's importance. The 4 tycoons of the Ganwu department walked down from the platform. The many undyings began to enjoy the banquet. Many waiters and waiters brought the ingredients the 3 tycoons brought over from all over the universe. Immediately the entire hall was filled with bustling discussions. Gold Feather official and the other 2 are so obvious, obviously they support LuoFeng. Silver Snow official sat in the corner, smiling and nodding. As long as we can get LuoFeng's help, this matter will more or less be settled. Ji Yen said softly. Teacher, look over there, Bushka. Yukon said. Silver Snow turned to look, with a glance he saw the distant tall and skinny man with a head full of silver lumps, coldly saying, Bushka? The person beside him should be Hong's teacher Luo. I didn't expect them to have the right to attend this banquet, I really don't know what Gold Feather and the other 2 are thinking. Head ancestor, about Hong and Little Qing. Ji Yen said softly. Chase that punk out of Jade Dome planet or kill him, it's useless. Silver Snow official said coldly, make Qing give up and forget about that punk, that's what I need. As for that Bushka, he still doesn't dare mess with me. And that punk called Hong, he's not even a threat at all. We'll settle it however we want. Ji Yen and Yukon nodded. In their eyes, Hong was like mud, they could do whatever they wanted. Stay here, I'll go talk to LuoFeng. Silver Snow official stood up. Yes, head ancestor, teacher. Ji Yen and Yukon said respectfully. After Silver Snow official stood up, he immediately headed towards LuoFeng who was chatting with a few undyings. He's here. LuoFeng noticed from the corner of his eye that Silver Snow official was walking over, thinking, I haven't even gone to find him and he's already taking the initiative to find me. Listen well. LuoFeng communicated to a sector lord standing at the side of the banquet hall. In a while, when I'm chatting with Silver Snow official, go to the resting room and bring my big brother into the main hall. When it's time, get him to call for me. Yes, your majesty. That sector lord nodded. After a while, Silver Snow official took the initiative to chat with LuoFeng. Luo Feng was incomparably passionate, using the attitude of a senior to talk about Silver Snow official, expressing his shock and respect. And watching this scene, the sector lord standing at the side of the main hall's eyes gleamed. He immediately turned and headed towards the resting room. He pushed open the door and entered. Within the resting room, Hong sat on the sofa. Hong turned to look at the sector lord who entered. Mr. Hong. The sector lord communicated. His Majesty has ordered for you to follow me into the main hall, and when you see him you can just call for him. I understand. Hong nodded. He stood up and followed the sector lord out of the resting room. After leaving the resting room it was the main hall. With a glance, the food and wine within was enough to make a normal undying go bankrupt. And that group of great undyings, they were all the highest echelons of the Ganwu universe country. Above them was only the Ganwu universe country leader. It's him. In the distance, Ji Fengyan, who had been observing the surroundings, glanced at Hong and frowned. Why is that punk here? He can even come here? Who? Yukon was curious. The youth standing over there. Ji Fengyan said softly, he's Hong. It's him? Yukon looked carefully at Hong. And after Hong entered the main hall, he too looked carefully at the entire hall. There were thousands of people within. The powerful origin law energies caused the entire hall to ripple with origin law ripples. Hong swiftly discovered the silver-robed man and his good brother, LuoFeng. Third brother? Hong shouted, his voice resounding within the main hall, causing a few undyings to look over. Universe-level punk? The group of great undyings were all suspicious. Speaking of which, that bug clan Great Tide was indeed terrifying. The endless bug sea, just looking at it was enough to make one tremble in fear. That battle, out of the 32 undyings, a total of 28 fell. Silver Snow official stood there, his eyes filled with reminiscence, recounting the intense battle back then to LuoFeng. LuoFeng listened carefully, almost holding his breath. Third brother? A voice resounded. LuoFeng turned to look, smiling. Big brother, wait a moment. Silver Snow official who was narrating was stunned, smiling. Ah, it's your big brother LuoFeng, who is it? Turning to look, he saw the distant silhouette. That silhouette was still speaking. Alright, I'll wait for you here. Silver Snow official squinted, staring at that silhouette. It's him? Big brother? Silver Snow official turned to look at LuoFeng. LuoFeng smiled. That's my big brother Hong. Life and death brothers. Life and death brothers? Silver Snow official's heart was in a mess. The moment he saw Hong he recognized him. Because back when he was investigating Ji Qing's matter, he had looked up some of Hong's information, including his pictures, videos, etc. However, Silver Snow official really didn't know about the relationship between Hong and LuoFeng. Hong and LuoFeng were life and death brothers. It was indeed never made public. Back then when they participated in the Genius Battle, they registered as universe citizens in the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Hence from an outsider's point of view, they only knew they were from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. As for their personal relationship, if one didn't spend effort to investigate, it would be very hard. That punk, he's actually LuoFeng's big brother, life and death brothers? Silver Snow official creased his eyebrows, many thoughts flashed through his mind. He was an undying, even though he couldn't be bothered to use any schemes for a long time, with his consciousness calculating speed, he swiftly understood LuoFeng's passion from before, Bushka and Luo's appearance. No wonder even Bushka can attend this banquet. No wonder LuoFeng is so passionate. So, everything is because Hong is his big brother. Silver Snow official looked at LuoFeng before him. LuoFeng smiled at Silver Snow official. My big brother seems like he can't wait any longer. Silver Snow official, don't blame me for speaking too much about my big brother and Ji Qing's matter. I want to ask, just what's going on? I wonder if you can tell me? If not, then forget it. Silver Snow official looked at LuoFeng, squinting as he pondered, saying, since Hong is your big brother, I'll tell you. LuoFeng's eyes gleamed. Looks like Silver Snow official Ji Tiansong indeed had his reasons for stopping Ji Qing from being with his big brother. Sit. Silver Snow pointed to the side. LuoFeng nodded and sat. Ji Qing. Silver Snow Marquis sat down and poured himself a cup of wine. At the same time he said, this child is the most outstanding descendant of my Ji family in the past billions of years. This is the first time I saw this child. I only exchanged a few words with her. From her words, I was pleasantly surprised to discover that she is extraordinary. LuoFeng listened quietly. She's a genius, an absolute genius of the Ji Shi family. Silver Snow smiled. She walks the path of a spirit reader hypnotist. Hypnotist. LuoFeng frowned. In the genius battle before, only hypnotist Jia Lai she stood out. From this one could see how difficult it was for a hypnotist to have any achievements. An extremely talented hypnotist, hence she was absorbed into the core of the Universe Mercenary Alliance. Silver Snow smiled. You should understand, to be able to have such shocking achievements in the hypnotist area, they all have extremely deep understanding of human nature. LuoFeng nodded. To become a strong hypnotist, the requirements were extremely high. One had to have a deep understanding of human nature and looks. A genius like Ji Qing, one that sees through human nature and looks very clearly, she doesn't need me to worry at all. Silver Snow smiled. I'm very at ease with the way she does things. And in the universe, love and affection, it's very normal for the strong to have tens of thousands of wives. A strong man has countless women, and a strong woman has countless men. According to my personality, even if Ji Qing and Hong were to have tens of thousands of men, I wouldn't mind too much. LuoFeng looked suspiciously at Silver Snow. What did those words mean? Since he didn't mind, why did he stop Ji Qing and Hong? The one who stopped them wasn't me. Silver Snow looked seriously at LuoFeng. It was her teacher. Fantasy Spirit Emperor. Her teacher? LuoFeng was shocked. Fantasy Spirit Emperor, it's the great being of the Demon and Spirit clan. Fantasy Spirit Emperor? Silver Snow nodded seriously. LuoFeng's heart sank. When he followed his teacher Tru Yan and listened to his teachings, he had heard of some extremely powerful people. The Sky Feather King was one, and the Fantasy Spirit King was another. Fantasy Spirit Emperor was a member of the Universe Mercenary Alliance, an extremely terrifying Emperor-level undying. Although she had only passed the 19th level of the Sky Crossing Bridge, it seemed that her comprehension of the laws of the universe was a level lower than Tru Yan and Sky Feather Kings. However, because she was an extremely strange illusionist, hence, among the Emperor-rank undyings, Fantasy Spirit King was one of the most terrifying beings. Once he was attacked by her, he might unknowingly fall into the illusion and die. And the most valiant of them all were her servants. She controlled a total of 81 undyings, of which 79 were official level and 2 Emperor-level undyings. This control ability was much stronger than the master of the Unimo planet, Hu Yenbo. Back when he heard these stories, LuoFeng was extremely shocked. It was simply too powerful, just controlling 81 undying servants. 2 more king-ranked martial artists? One had to know that his teacher Tru Yan had taught so many disciples and only managed to teach 1 Emperor-level undying. Fantasy Spirit Emperor's position is extremely respected. LuoFeng frowned. Even if Ji Qing is her disciple, she doesn't have to care so much. Don't tell me that after becoming her disciple, one can't even talk about love? That's indeed the case. Silver Snow shook his head and exclaimed. LuoFeng, I don't know if you've gathered information on Fantasy Spirit Emperor's disciples. She has a total of 19 disciples, and of these 19 there are 7 males and 12 females. And these 19 have all lived for extremely long periods of time, some even exceeding trillions of years. However, they all have one thing in common. One thing in common? LuoFeng was even more curious. All 19 of them don't have a spouse. Silver Snow emphasized. LuoFeng was shocked. In the vast universe, even if one gave up on a woman-man, they could still meet a woman-man, in the vast universe. Hence it was strange that none of the 19 disciples had a spouse. Back then when Fantasy Spirit Emperor found out about Ji Qing and Hong, she was immediately enraged and came to ask me. Silver Snow Marquis said solemnly, she asked, if Qingqing had done something like lust. Based on my aura, I can sense that Qingqing's life aura is still very pure. She hasn't done anything like lust. After Fantasy Spirit Emperor found out, her anger subsided and she ordered me to stop the matter between Qingqing and Hong, otherwise she could only expel Qingqing and not let her be her disciple. LuoFeng realized. Silver Snow looked at LuoFeng and sighed softly. You should understand why I stopped her. It wasn't me who wanted to stop her, but Fantasy Spirit Emperor. Just having an absolute genius isn't enough, she has to have a good teacher as well. The most exceptional genius that our Jishir family has produced in countless years, how can I watch her be expelled by Fantasy Spirit Emperor? Silver Snow's thoughts were easy to understand. To be able to become a disciple of a great being was extremely hard to come by. For example, in his genius battle, out of the 1,000 participants, less than 10 were accepted by an Emperor-level undying. Much less becoming a disciple of an Emperor-level undying who was considered to be at the pinnacle of undying, that really required luck and luck. Why is it like this? Fantasy Spirit Emperor is only accepting a disciple. Is there a need to interfere with her disciple's relationship? LuoFeng frowned. I'm not sure of the reason either. Silver Snow shook his head. I only know. Fantasy Spirit Emperor doesn't allow her disciples to have relationships, otherwise she'll be expelled. This. LuoFeng was troubled. What should he do now? Fantasy Spirit Emperor. This was a being very close to Sky Feather Emperor and Tru Yan Emperor. LuoFeng's gaze swept around. The group of undyings in the hall all had high positions in the Ganwu universe country, however there wasn't a single Emperor-level undying here. And Fantasy Spirit Emperor had 2 Emperor-level undyings as her undying servants. Fantasy Spirit Emperor could completely disregard the group of people here. My position is useless in front of Fantasy Spirit King. Even my teacher. He would at most let her treat him as an equal, he wouldn't be able to make her lower her head. LuoFeng thought. Tru Yan Emperor and Fantasy Spirit Emperor, one was that their strengths were close and 2 were from different factions. Fantasy Spirit Emperor had no need to submit to Tru Yan Emperor. Silver Snow official, do you have any ideas? LuoFeng looked at him. I have no ideas. Silver Snow shook his head. Fantasy Spirit Emperor wouldn't even put me in her eyes. LuoFeng frowned. If your teacher Tru Yan Emperor were to appear, there might be a chance. Silver Snow official suddenly said. LuoFeng glanced at Silver Snow official. He didn't want his teacher to appear in such a situation. I've already told you the details, I have no other ideas. However, I have to tell you. Qingqing being able to become a disciple of Fantasy Spirit Emperor is an extremely rare opportunity. I definitely won't allow her to be expelled. Silver Snow official looked at LuoFeng. Within the main hall of the banquet, the great beings of the Ganwu universe country were chatting in groups of 2s and 3s. And in the corner of the hall, Hong, Bushka, Luo and Dylan, these four were standing together. I wonder how third brother's discussion is going. Hong looked into the distance, where Luo Feng and Silver Snow official were chatting. Don't rush. The white-haired Luo smiled. His Majesty LuoFeng's position is special, and he has the support of the 3 tycoons of the Ganwu department. Even that Silver Snow official would have to give him face. He can ignore me, but he wouldn't dare ignore Luo Feng. The tall and skinny man Bushka with a head full of pimples smiled too. Umph. The black-robed bald Dylan snorted lightly. The undyings in the hall, most of them have many undyings under them, however none of them would dare ignore His Majesty. Hong nodded, looking at the distant Luo Feng and Silver Snow official. After a while, Luo Feng and Silver Snow official finished their conversation and finally turned, walking towards Hong. Third brother. Hong welcomed him. Big brother. Luo Feng walked over, his expression complicated. Hong looked at Luo Feng's expression and immediately felt something was amiss. What's going on? Hong said softly. Big brother. Luo Feng found it hard to speak too. It's like this, the one truly stopping you and Ji Qing isn't Silver Snow official, it's Fantasy Spirit Emperor. And this Fantasy Spirit Emperor. Luo Feng explained in detail, describing how terrifying she was. Bushka, Luo and Dylan were also listening by the side. It's like this. Luo Feng looked at Hong. There's actually Fantasy Spirit Emperor behind him. Bushka's expression changed. This Fantasy Spirit Emperor is extremely difficult to deal with. Dylan frowned. Even if my teacher appears, it'll be useless unless the ancestor appears. He might be of some use. The white-haired Luo frowned, looking at Hong, saying solemnly, Disciple. Since it's Fantasy Spirit Emperor's obstruction and her disciples are all single, it's destined that she won't easily change her rules. From what I see, you should give up. Hong stood there quietly. Give up, why bother with a woman? Bushka advised, even if you see through it, it's nothing. Some can be given up, but others have to be persevered. Hong revealed a smile, looking at Hong and Bushka. Teacher, Senior Bushka? I definitely won't give up so easily. Third brother. Hong looked at Luo Feng. If there's anything you need me to do, just say it. Luo Feng looked at his big brother. I've indeed troubled you this time, otherwise I wouldn't even know the reason. Hong shook his head and smiled. I'm afraid in their eyes they won't even bother to explain to me. I have one thing I need your help with, and this is also the last thing. You and I came from Earth together, that means we're life and death brothers, there's no need to say anything else. Luo Feng looked at Hong. I want to. Hong looked at Luo Feng. Meet Fantasy Spirit Emperor. Luo Feng, Dylan, Bushka and Luo were all shocked. Meet the Fantasy Spirit King? Luo Feng, Dylan, Bushka and Luo were all extremely knowledgeable. They too knew of the pinnacle of the human 1008 universe countries. For example, if a universe-level punk wanted to meet True Yen, would he be able to? It was purely a dream. It was the same logic. Could he see Fantasy Spirit King just because he wanted to? Big brother this. Luo Feng slightly frowned. He wanted to see Fantasy Spirit King, but he had no relationship with her at all and had never seen her before. There's no way. Hong looked at Luo Feng. If there's really no way then? Don't worry. Luo Feng shook his head. Big brother, I can only say I'll try. Hong nodded slightly. The banquet continued. Luo Feng carried his glass and walked to Silver Snow official's side. Luo Feng. Silver Snow sat there, slightly raising his cup. Beside, the undying Yukon and Sector Lord Ji Feng Yen stood up and made way. Luo Feng sat opposite Silver Snow official and smiled. Silver Snow official, I have something to trouble you with. What is it? Just say it. Silver Snow official Ji Tiansong looked at Luo Feng. He felt disdain towards Hong, however he still held Luo Feng in high regard, an absolute genius that was able to shine so brightly in the virtual universe company. With True Yen Emperor supporting him as long as he didn't fall, his future would definitely be terrifying. Luo Feng smiled. Silver Snow official, please help me send a mail. Mail? Marquis Silver Snow's pupils shrank as he asked in confusion. It's for? Fantasy Spirit Emperor. Luo Feng nodded. The Silver Snow Marquis was shocked. I'll write the contents of the email. Of course I'll show it to you, Silver Snow. Luo Feng smiled. No matter what, this mail is for Silver Snow official to send. Naturally I can't make things difficult for you. Haha, I don't have to worry about this. I believe Luo Feng won't anger her. Silver Snow smiled and nodded. Yes, this is the content. Luo Feng extended his wrist and a mail appeared on the screen on his wrist. The contents of the mail were already opened. Silver Snow looked at the screen and read. He wants to see Fantasy Spirit King? He really dared to think he was just a universe-level punk without any special background or status. What kind of status does Fantasy Spirit King have? Why would she meet him? Silver Snow official was shocked, looking curiously at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, is there a need for you to stand up for him? Like blood brothers, of course I have to help, said Luo Feng. Yes. Marquis Silver Snow nodded. I will help you send this mail to Fantasy Spirit King. As for whether she is willing to meet you and Hong, that will depend on luck. Silver Snow smiled. Let me give you a suggestion. If your teacher True Yen is willing to appear no matter what, at least meet. Fantasy Spirit King will definitely meet with you. Luo Feng smiled and shook his head. Unless there was really no other way, it was best not to ask his teacher for help. His teacher had already done him a great favor by teaching him. If he were to let his teacher worry about this and that, Did he think that his teacher was a nanny? This was very disrespectful behavior. It's been sent. Silver Snow official looked at LuoFeng. The moment Fantasy Spirit Emperor is willing to meet you, I'll inform you. Thank you. LuoFeng smiled. I'll tell you my virtual universe network number, you can contact me. The main character of this banquet was LuoFeng. During the process of the banquet, LuoFeng raised his wineglass and chatted with the great undyings. These undyings didn't dare underestimate this punk before them. After all, this punk's current authority alone was enough to affect them. The banquet ended. However, Silver Snow official still hadn't received Fantasy Spirit Emperor's reply. Jade Dome Planet, Luo Clan Villa. The true upper echelon of the Ganwu universe country had all boarded universe ships and left. Even the 3 tycoons Purple Lightning official, Gold Feather official and Black Yen official had left. Night. The guests had already left. LuoFeng walked alone in this silent and vast palace corridor. Big brother. LuoFeng glanced at the distant black-clothed Hong who was sitting quietly on the grass. LuoFeng was like a gust of wind as he leapt over the railings and walked a few steps to Hong's side. Hong turned and looked at him. Sit. Still worried. LuoFeng sat and smiled. I'm not worried, I'm just waiting. Hong turned and smiled at LuoFeng, waiting for that chance to come. No matter what, at least tonight I know why that Silver Snow official obstructed me and Ji Qing. Once I understand the reason, I can think of a way to resolve the obstruction. You're very confident. LuoFeng smiled. I don't have any confidence at all. Only, there are some things I have to do. Hong smiled. Once I work hard, I won't regret it. Even if I can't do it now, when I become stronger in the future, even stronger than Fantasy Spirit Emperor, naturally I'll be able to bring Qing back. LuoFeng looked shocked at his big brother. Stronger than Fantasy Spirit Emperor? Was his big brother bragging or was he very confident? Fantasy Spirit Emperor. That was definitely an absolute being that roamed the universe. With a flip of her hand she could probably kill trillions of people, causing a group of undyings to fall into illusions and die. My heart is limitless, my future is limitless. Hong looked at LuoFeng. Third brother, don't be afraid. If even your heart feels that surpassing is a difficult thing, how will you be able to do it in reality? LuoFeng was stunned. My heart is limitless? His future was limitless? No matter how powerful an absolute being is, it's all accumulated step by step. Hong smiled. As long as you keep improving, always improving. And your lifespan is limitless. Then, even becoming the strongest being in the universe isn't impossible. LuoFeng nodded. Suddenly he was stunned. His consciousness connected to the virtual universe network and immediately returned. Big brother. LuoFeng smiled. Oh? Hong looked at LuoFeng and smiled. From your expression, it seems like something good has happened. I just received a letter from Silver Snow official. LuoFeng smiled. Silver Snow official's letter? Hong's eyes gleamed. He forwarded the contents of Fantasy Spirit Emperor's letter. LuoFeng smiled. Agreed? Hong's eyes gleamed with a gaze. LuoFeng smiled and nodded. Right? Fantasy Spirit Emperor will send her underlings to the Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-Star Bay and bring us to her palace to meet her. LuoFeng said, hence from now on, we'll always leave a thread of consciousness within the virtual universe network and wait for her to meet us. Hong nodded. Virtual universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-Star Bay Little District. LuoFeng and Hong looked at the man before them. This was a 3 tall man with a pair of black feathered wings, and on his forehead were 10 horns of different lengths. This black feathered man smiled as he looked at LuoFeng. True Yin Emperor's disciple LuoFeng? How do you do? I'm Fantasy Spirit Emperor's disciple Bushla. How do you do, Bushla? LuoFeng nodded. This is the punk that wants to marry junior sister? The black feathered man glanced at Hong, his lips curling up, almost disdainful. Hong was about to reply when the man turned to LuoFeng. Let's go, my teacher is waiting for you. All right. LuoFeng nodded, immediately bringing Hong and following the black feathered man, swiftly leaving the 9-Star Bay district. At a teleportation point not far from there, they immediately left. Shwa. LuoFeng, Hong and the black feathered man Bushla. These 3 appeared out of nowhere in a vast plaza of a palace. Rumble, the waves crashed against the shore. The entire palace was about 100,000 kilometers tall, split into 9 levels. The lowest level was close to the sea, and the plaza LuoFeng and the others were in was the 5th level plaza. Follow me. The black feathered man led the way. Entering the deep palace, they proceeded forward. Even Hong was at the universe level, hence the 3 of them advanced very quickly, reaching the 7th level after a while. This was a secluded hall. At the entrance of the hall stood a group of women dressed in white muslin clothes that were as soft as clouds and mist. Their furry tails swayed slightly behind them. These women all had soul-stirring purple eyes, and when they looked over, one could feel the desire contained in their eyes. Under the black feathered man's lead, LuoFeng and Hong walked into the palace. As they advanced, the women standing next to him had changed from the women in white to women in black. However, it was clear that these women were all from the same race. They all had purple eyes and furry tails. After walking another 1,000 kilometers, the women beside them changed to purple-robed women. What a wondrous illusion. LuoFeng walked in the huge God Spirit Palace, looking at the women standing beside him. He unknowingly fell into an illusion, almost as though these women were all naked, using all sorts of alluring techniques to get closer. Unfortunately, LuoFeng and Hong were people with high mental states. If they didn't purposely use such an illusion, it wouldn't affect them at all. Teacher. The black-feathered man bowed respectfully, his voice resounding within the vast palace, resounding constantly. LuoFeng and Hong stopped simultaneously. Looking up, they could see clearly in the distance, on the huge throne carved with all sorts of complicated and lewd statues, there was a woman with long purple hair, purple pupils and a purple furry tail curled up. When her eyes looked down, the entire land seemed to be filled with a lewd energy. Fantasy Spirit Emperor. LuoFeng held his breath. After hearing of her name, LuoFeng didn't dare be careless. LuoFeng. A gentle voice resounded from the distant huge throne. Indeed, a universe-level genius that was able to make it to the 10th island of Fantasy Ocean. Your mental state is very firm. I like this kind of determined punk. Your teacher True Yen Emperor indeed has good foresight. He raised a bloodthirsty emperor before, and looking at your data, you're also a killing maniac. True Yan's disciples are all like that. The teacher is a maniac in killing, the disciples are all maniac in killing too. Thank you Fantasy Spirit Emperor for your praise. LuoFeng bowed. His teacher True Yen Emperor indeed had a period where he was crazy and heavenly. It was just that he was much more low profile now, training in Primal Chaos City. Otherwise, in terms of violence, his teacher wouldn't lose to the bloodthirsty emperor's third senior. On the huge throne, the demon and spirit clan's great being laid lazily, her purple pupils looked at Hong. You are the Hong Qing spoke of? Yes. Hong bowed and replied.